Jai Gurudev, welcome back. So, we go directly on the question. Nothing to share.
So, Guruji, why do bad things happen to good people?
Mm-hmm. That's a question?
That's a question.
Well, in a short answer, because the people is good, and God loved them so dearly and want that their karma be finished quickly. So that's why He sent a lot of trouble so that they finish their karma and they can attain to Him faster. This reminds me of a story. Once Krishna was walking with Narada, and they were passing by a house of somebody which was very rich, and Krishna said to Narada, go and ask the man for water. I'm thirsty. So Narada went and asked, please, the Lord wants some water to drink. So very happy, the man brought some water, and Krishna drank the water and blessed him. May you and have much success in whatever you do. May your wealth grows more, And the man was very happy and he left. And as they were going through, they passed by a small hut, and there's an elderly brahmin inside. And Krishna expressed again, I'm thirsty, I want to get some water. Go and ask the brahmin. So when Narada went inside and asked, the Lord want to have some things to drink, some water to drink. The men look around and say, there's nothing that I can give the Lord to drink here. But there is some milk, which I milk my old cow. And this is also, since morning, have been left like that. So if that can satisfy the Lord, I'm happy to give it to him. And Bhagwan said, yes, I will drink it. So the milk was given to the Lord himself. And when Bhagwan finished drinking it, he blessed the man and said, may all the obstruction be removed from your path. May your old cow died. And Narada was shocked for this. He said, okay, you bless the one which have so much, with much wealth and so on, and why do you bless this poor Brahmin who doesn't have anything? You could have just blessed him and he will be flourishing, his life will be flourished. Why you said the only possession that he had was that cow, why you said that old cow should die? So Bhagwan smiled and said, well, you see that this rich man, even giving me water, in his mind he have desire for more things, and for him life is only here, because he dwells in this ignorance. He thinks that happiness is only when he have what he want. So whereas the Brahmin doesn't have much, and when he, even in spite of doesn't have much, he have faith in me, he have trust in me. So when I blessed him, there was only one obstruction between him and me, and that was that cow, because he was worried always about this old cow and what will happen to that cow. So bearing in mind that this will be a big obstruction, I remove that obstruction from him by liberating that cow. So in that way, we see that often people doesn't have an understanding of life itself. Because to understand life, we have to understand in the deepness of things why we are here. In chapter 14, verse 20, Lord Krishna said, that those who have gone beyond the three gunas, which actually the body itself revolves around, they are free from birth, from growth, from decay, from pain, from death. They attain to immortality. They attain to that eternity of what the Atma itself is longing for. So when Bhagavan, we see that, we have a deeper understanding of what is life. Life is not about staying in that cycle of birth and death. Here Bhagavan said, everything has been given to you as a reminder that you have to free yourself. And being, in good quality, for example. So if you are in good quality, you are seated in that mode of goodness, there should be complete surrender. Of course, Bhagavan will always stand by you. It's not bad thing doesn't happen to bad people. It's not that good thing doesn't happen only to bad people. No, good thing happen also to good people, and bad thing happen also to bad people. So, but people which consider themselves good, they are in that delusion that because I'm on the spiritual path, everything have to be sublime, But yet you have not let go of the three guna. When Bhagavan Krishna said about, you have not yet let go, you are still dancing in the mode of the three gunas, and yet you want to be free. And it's not just by wearing a tilak or dress yourself has a very exotic that will free you. We have to understand that deepness of surrender itself. When we talk about how Bhagavan said, in Bhagavad Canto 6, chapter 1, verse 17, where he said, when the sage Sukha said, that in this world, there is what will make one happy is the path where one will get rid of fear. And those who is on that path, they are all devoted to the lotus feet of Sriman Narayana. So, Bhagavan said also, when we look at that, he said, you are dear to me. Why should I not care for you? If we understand truly how karma works, how things evolve itself, but when we surrender to the feet of the Lord, we are free from that. Here Bhagavan said of those who have gone over the three gunas, because the three gunas, it is what bind us here, what keep us here. And for a good person, why do you think he dwell in good? So it means he dwell in the mode of sattvic. So dwelling into the mode of sattvic or rajasic or tamasic, you're still bound by this reality. He said, no, it's not enough to be bound by this reality. You have to be free. You have to evolve yourself. You have to move forward. You see, when we talk about karma itself, we are talking about something which is in action, which is moving. So it can't be, if there's no action, you will not be alive. So everything which is in constant movement, is still into the process. So this is what Bhagavan also explained, into the mode in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 17. He explained about the free mode of action itself, karma, vikarma, akarma, which is action, forbidden action and inaction. So if you understand this concept of things, you will see that in your life itself, there's not a single time that you are not in action. That's why in that verse also he said, action is complex and very difficult to understand. When we talk about karma itself, here he's talking about karma. Everybody is bound by this karmic things in life, but when we dwell into the mode of goodness, of course, all the karmic things which is not important for us, because we have, like I said, we have to advance. The Atma long to advance. The Atma is not, here this reality is bound by finite things. Everything comes and everything goes. The beginning, that's why Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 20, he said, one which go beyond that, which the body revolve, is free from birth, pain, growth, and death itself, and attain immortality. So for the attainment of that immortality, for that understanding of immortality, we have to go even beyond the mode of goodness itself. Because you see, the moment we put in our mind, psychologically, we say, okay, this is good. If we say that this is good, automatically this should be something which is bad. So into that state, there is a judgment. So you're judging what is good and what is bad. So here he said, no, you have to go beyond that. So when you understand that everything that we do here is a projection of our mind itself, so everything that outside is good, bad, and everything else is a projection of our mind, which is firstly governed by the subtle body and the causal body itself. So going beyond these bodies itself, which the three gunas revolve around, we can cross over birth and death itself and attain to our true aspect, because the Atma, which is seated within the core of yourself, is the great witness, which is witnessing life in itself. So we forget about that. And when we forget about that, we say, yes, this is good things are happening to bad people, and bad things are happening to good people. But we don't see that the process that one have gone through lives itself, that one is getting freed from that. And everything, it is in his accordance. When we understand how the law of karma work. So when we have an understanding of that, how karma work, just a little bit, like Krishna have said, it's very complex and very difficult, even for the wise one to understand. But if we have a little understanding of how karma work, we will see that everything is perfect how it is. When the Lord himself blessed, one with life itself, but having blessed life to attain him. So you see, it's a journey. Also, don't think that one can change just like that from the animalistic quality which one have cultivated through many lives and just change quickly to the mode of goodness in sattvic. No, that also take a long journey in itself. You see, so one which is attached to the material reality, here Bhagavan said, this one is far away to become near to me. Now, even if I give the whole knowledge to that idiot, it would not understand anything. It will go and fall on deaf ears itself. So why should I waste my time? That is what he's asking me. He's asking me for, let me enjoy life itself. You see in the world itself, open your eyes and see around you itself. You see that people who have everything, they are not interested in spirituality. Even if they are interested in spirituality, it is just a fake spirituality. What do they call spirituality? It's just to do some yoga asana, and then close their eyes and chant Om. That's it. That's what they will call spirituality. There's no the deepness into it. And then, of course, They are happy because their mind revolves onto these qualities, They run behind the material life. They want to be happy in the material life. They want a little bit of spirituality, and also when they have time, they will do it. So that doesn't come to that point of giving one that great real happiness. When we talk about bliss in itself, they are not into that state. Yesterday when I was giving darshan, and after darshan, I was looking at the people, and you can see that the people radiate, the devotees radiate a certain love and happiness that people looking in the outside, they have to do so many things externally to find that happiness. It's not natural. They have to take drugs, they have to take ecstasy, they have to take so many crap things. Sorry, I could not find any other word for that. To find that happiness, that glow itself. But does it last? No, it doesn't last. But when you see the radiant on the face of the devotee, like the Bhagavad said, they are without fear. And those who trace the path which is without fear, they are dedicated to the feet of Sriman Narayana. So when you see yesterday, after darshan, I still see the people. Some people are eating the banana, some people are doing other things, yawning and so on. It's funny to see. But the devotee, you see them, they're all sitting in meditation, and you see the radiance on the face itself. But if people from the outside will look at them, of course they will think that these people are a bit crazy in their mind, because they are happy for no reason. How can in their mind they will say, how? What do you see? By looking at that person, what do you see? It's not about seeing, it's about feeling. So those who surrender to the feet of Guru and God, they have that deep understanding of where they want to be. And of course, to fulfill that deep desire inside of them, to fulfill the call of the Atma itself, Bhagwan give more, trouble to those which dwell in goodness, so that they can constantly remember him. You see, after the Mahabharata war, when all the Kauravas were killed, Krishna came and greet his aunties. So Kunti prayed to Lord Krishna. He said, please ask me for a boon. What? Then Kunti asked, please, Lord, give me endless problem and trouble so that I can constantly remember you. So you see, how many Kunti are there, who will ask Bhagwan, please give me endless trouble that you can be constantly in my mind. People always ask God, please solve my problem. Yes, but problems are endless in one life. One problem will lead to another problem. Do you think people are satisfied? The same thing, they are greedy. When they have things in their life, they are never satisfied. Also, problem is the same. You see, when they have one problem, that problem is solved, they will have another problem, because people's mind create lots of fantasy. People's mind create lots of problem, and they identify to these fantasies and problems inside of their mind, and that become their reality. There is one Mataji, every day she will send me messages, one family, where she will say always she have headache, or she have too much work, and she's on the spiritual path. And you can see how that mindset, being even on the spiritual path, they don't have the deepest understanding of what it is to surrender to God. They don't have a deeper understanding. They say, yes, I am on the spiritual path. I follow. Of course, her guru is a different person, and but there is no happiness in that. They just pretend to be happy. So the same thing with bad people. Bad people, they have this tendency to pretend to be happy. Are they really happy? No, they may have everything. I have seen so many of these kind of people where they are super rich, and they have everything. But happiness, they are just pretend to be happy. They are pretenders only. Because they think that by having all these material things, they can really be happy. No, deep inside of them, their Atma are not happy at all. Because in place of advancing towards that immortality which Bhagwan is talking about, they are moving away from that reality. So further they go, further pretending they have to be. But those good people who have problem into their life, but perceived, especially a devotee, they don't take problem as problem. They take problem as given by God Himself. Some people will say, yes, it's a test that I have to go through. Yes, also, yes, it is a test which your mind have to transcend. But it is also what He have given you. He have not leave you alone into that. He is standing by you in the form of your faith, in the form of your belief. And He is there, holding you. In time of trouble, there's this beautiful story that said, when I'm walking upon, I think it's from the Bible itself, when I'm walking upon the shore, when I look behind, when everything is beautiful, when I look behind, I see 4 pairs of footprint. But in time of trouble, I see only 2 pairs of footprint. And that person prayed to God and said, where are you? Do you think only in good time you're with me? And then Bhagwan said, no, the pair of footprint that you see, it is not yours. It is my footprint. Because in time of trouble, I am carrying you. I'm caring for you. Because you are dear to me. I want you to come to me. I want you to attain me. I want you to reach that final stage of that you don't come back into this reality. This is the aim of a true guru for his disciple also. You see, a true guru will not just tell you, oh, be happy and entertain the world as much as you can. And okay, everything will be fine. If you're happy here, that is. No, it's not, it doesn't matter about where you lead afterwards. Just being happy here, that's the most important thing. No, it's a true guru is here to remind you that you are here to attain to that perfection of the Atma itself. Because the Atma is not touched by any of this reality. The Atma is ever pure inside of you. So that's what we have to cleanse the dust from the mirror. We have to, just like the smoke which is covering the fire, we have to let the wind blow and remove, let the fire be burned and let it shine. That's what Jesus said in the Bible. If you have a lamp, you will not put it under the bed to hide it. No, but you will put it up, but it shines. So why you are hiding into that craziness that, okay, good things happen only to bad people and bad things happen only to good people. It is not true. To have the true understanding of what is life itself. And really you will see that the beauty of life itself, being here in the present moment, it's amazing. Because you see, especially if you are devotee of the Lord, how much He cares for you. And especially if you have the grace of Guru with you, that is the best thing that life have ever given you. So it's not about having a life which is bad or good. No, it's about having a life where you can have this personal relationship with God. That's what is matter. Having this life, that realizing that He's not far away in a distant land. He's not far away into a sky or on a cloud sitting with some angels playing harp or whatever. No, He's not there. He's seated inside of your heart. And the very aspect of your Atma itself, the parcel of Him. Imagine that Lord which you are looking for around is just the very part of yourself itself, And He's just waiting to reveal Himself to you. And for that to happen, that mindset must be there, that to see beyond the limitation, because even goodness is a limitation. Not only bad things, even good things is a limitation. So once your mind have crossed over this limitation, that reality come. That's why he said, that being out, those who surrender, who have gone beyond the evolvement of this body itself, you go beyond, the moment you go beyond the three gunas, beyond goodness, beyond bad, beyond everything, the reality start to reveal itself to you. So then you are no more bound by limitation. As Bhagwan is unlimited, that self is also unlimited. So when you understand this a little bit, when you understand how karma work, when you understand that where you have to focus your mind upon, then you'll be free. And it is not by, in Bhagavad Canto 6, chapter 1, verse 18, it said also that it's very often people want to do a bargain with God. Now they try to atone for their mistake. They try to, buy, like you will see that very often in certain religion. You say, okay, you have sinned, you give a certain amount of money, indulgence or whatever they call it, you will be free from this sin. No, your sin, you will not be free. As long as you don't surrender to the feet of Srimad Narayana, to the feet of God, you will never be free from that. The same way it is, like it's Karan said, even if you take urine and put it in a bottle and plunge it into the sacred rivers, whether Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, whatever, you put all the 7 holy rivers and ask to purify that urine, it will never get purified. So even in 20 years, in 100 years, 1,000 years, when you take it out, it will still be urine, in spite of being fully submerged into the Ganges itself. So understand what it meant, you see. As long as you, inside of you, just like the bottle, if you entertain your mind by all these things of the outside, if you entertain your mind and let your mind run behind, this is bad. When something bad is happening outside, this troubles your mind. Then you lose peace. Can you concentrate on God then? No, you can't concentrate on God. And when good things happen, then it is never enough. Greed awake inside. I want more. So again, there is no peace. There's no happiness into that. So you see both ways. Good also don't give you peace and happiness, and also bad things don't give you peace and happiness. So awake, as long as you stay in that deep sleep, you can't perceive the reality. Then you're still into the drama of the gunas itself. But once you awake, just the same way you awake from a deep sleep, when you are in a deep sleep, does trouble worry you? No. Does pain worry you? No. All the drama of life don't worry you because you're in a deep sleep. But once you're awake again, then the reality kick in. Then again you have pain, then again you have trouble, then again you have worry, and again you are in drama. So going out from this drama, which normally you have created, and have a deeper understanding of that because you're on the spiritual path, knows that you are never alone in any situation, and that whatever is happening, it is happening for your own good, so that you can transcend that limitation of the mind, and go beyond that. But that will happen only when you really want to go beyond the mind. If you don't want to go beyond the mind, you can beat the donkey will not move. So it's up to you. That is your choice. And really, that will be of importance only when you want to change your life. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Then you still see, good is happening to bad people, and bad things happening to good people. So.
How can we continue our spiritual practice if we fail to develop a taste for it? I know material life is not the truth, but I cannot fake attraction to my practices. How do I avoid being stuck in limbo?
Sorry, what are you stuck in?
In limbo.
Why is that limbo? Can you tell me again the question?
How can we continue our spiritual practice if we fail to develop a taste for it? If there's no taste for it, there's no yearning. So the person knows that material life is not the truth, but can't fake being attracted to the practices. So how to start enjoying the practice?
This will come, you see, how you will develop a taste in, you see, firstly, let me explain to you. When you are practicing your spiritual sadhana, you have not to see it as something which is arduous, because already in your mind, you already say, I have to do 16 rounds of japam. Oh my goodness. You say, oh my goodness, I have to do 5 rounds of kriya now. I'm so tired. So you see, you already put your own fear, firstly. You put your own laziness to that practice. So when you do that, then it becomes very difficult to move forward, because you are putting brake to yourself. So in that situation, what you have to do is to be disciplined. Even if you don't want to practice, force yourself in practicing. Because if you say, okay, I will just sit around, I will not practice today, I will do it tomorrow. And then you will find many excuses for tomorrow also for not doing it. Because once you take that step of finding excuse for not practicing, that will become also more harder and more harder. So, to encourage yourself to practice is, firstly, look at your mind itself, how you see yourself, how much you are dedicated into it. So like you said in your question, you want to, So if you want to practice, who is stopping you? Apart from your lazy mind. So change your lazy mind and discipline yourself. Whether you want or you don't want, you will do it. Now I'll tell you something. recently I start to walk. So every day I go around in the forest walking for 5 kilometers. And of course, you see, before I never been to that forest and I never been walking around, and I did the parikrama, but I was busy. And every day I keep myself busy doing other things. But some times ago, I said, doesn't matter. I will go walking every day. So then it was raining. One day it was raining. I was saying to myself, today it's raining, terrible, I will not go. But then inside I said, okay, look, it's been few days I've been going. It was hard first days, but let me do it again, And then looking at the rain, when it's raining, it's very, I say, okay, I like to be inside in the warm, So then I said, okay, fine, it doesn't matter. I will go. Whether it's raining or not, I'll go. So then I went alone, walking around. I did my 5 kilometers, and it was so funny. On the third kilometer, the weather changed. The sun started to shine, and it was becoming warm again. It was really nice. So you see, if I would just say, okay, no, not doing it now, then that would be also an excuse for not doing it. So you see, not only you, only also me, I have to remind myself not to do that. Even if you put a certain discipline to yourself, you have to do it. So it is like that also. If you really want to achieve your goal, you have to become disciplined, no matter what. Even if you feel something when you are practicing, or you are not feeling anything when you are practicing, practice it.
When Prahlad Maharaj was a king, Indra disguised himself as a brahmin and asked Prahlad for his humility, which Prahlad gave. Later, during the Govardhan Lila, Indra was proud again. So how did Indra lose Prahlad's humility? And also, why does Indra make so many mistakes all the time?
Look, when we read about these inspiration stories, of firstly, when Indra asked for Prahlad, asked the humility of Prahlad. Okay, when you ask the humility of Prahlad, of course, being generous, he said, yes, take it. Of course, when the humility of Prahlad is gone from him, he lost everything. So when Indra had that humility from Prahlad, doesn't mean that it is his. Because to acquire humility, you can't just take the humility of somebody and say, this is mine. It is a quality inside of oneself. If your mind, let's say, have not changed, as much as you can pretend to be humble, you will never be humble. Because still that arrogance, still that pride will still jump inside of your mind. So Indra, which is the Lord of, the demigods, in spite of taking that quality from Prahlad Maharaj, doesn't mean that he become humble. So it is not his, So that's why he have to be continuously reminded. You see, when you work and earn your living, you will know how to spend your money. But if money had been given to you freely like that, throw on a golden plate, had been offered to you, you will not appreciate it. You will use it in such a idiotic way. So you see, you value something when you earn it. So if Indra just come and ask something from somebody and just get it like that, he didn't earn it. That's why that humility also will have a certain span only. It will be there. But yet that mindset will still come again. But when you earn something, you appreciate it much more. And that's what happened with Indra. In spite of taking the humility from Prahlad, it is not his. His mind have not changed. That humility have not set inside of his mind or consciousness itself. That's why that arrogance, when Bhagwan, he want to incarnate on earth, and he saw, he said, okay, yes, even if he's Bhagwan himself incarnate, but his ego was too strong. Said, okay, he's just a small kid. That's what he see. He see that Bhagwan is just a small kid. He's blinded. Like that, you see, very often people, you see, you're giving certain duties in life, and due to your pride and ego, you claim that it is yours. You forget that this duty have been given to you. The whole strength of Indra itself have been given by the Lord himself. But when one forget about that, you can't be humble. And you know very well, Indra, how many Indras there is nowadays in this world, which is just forgetting their true duties which have been allocated to them. And then they claim, but they are the master of this world. So that you see in daily life itself. When people have a position, when people are sitting on a chair, and they think that, yes, because I'm sitting on that chair, I have big power. They forget that that chair have seen many people like these people sitting on them. And they forget that this chair that hold that power, not them. So when you forget that what have been given to you can be taken also away, at any time. So powers have been given, it can be taken away. So this, when you realize that what have been given to you, you have to use it in the right way, in the best way, as service also. And of course that make you humble straight away. So you see, Bhagwan have to lift Govardhan 8 days was, to destroy that pride in Indra itself. How merciful is the Giridhariji, to show this Lila itself. So,
Jai Gurudev Guruji, can you please explain the importance of dakshina on our spiritual path? In the scriptures, many examples are not monetary. So when we should give, what should we give, and why?
okay, you see, dakshina is a balance between what you are receiving. It's not that you have to give really, but it's a gratitude. You value what you are receiving. Because very often people doesn't value what they receive. And also one thing is, doesn't bear the weight. What you receive just easily, you take it for granted. And that I have experienced that also very often. When I used to teach Kriya, people would just take it for granted because it was just for free. So then, when the concept of when you pay something, you value it, and this is the whole concept of that. And dakshina is given as a gratitude, for what you are receiving. You may not notice it, or you may not notice what you are receiving, but that gratitude is expressed. And nowadays, you see, like the question carry on, whether it have to be monetary, it can be actually anything. But what is the most important thing nowadays, it's easier, is, because you see, in ancient time, the king used to give dakshina, or the people will give dakshina according to what they have. They will bring, because they had farms, they will bring the earning of the farms to the ashrams, or the king will donate gold and diamonds and precious things to the ashram. This is how the ashram run itself. So it is also the gratitude, like I said, what they have been receiving. And also what it is said, that in the scriptures it said that what you receive, a certain percentage must go to the service of society, a percentage must go to the service where the temple ashrams is sustained itself. So in that context, people used to give dakshina. Even now, you see, when we look at certain countries, you see that it is very clear. Like it said also, what you give, you get much more than that. It's not just giving. No, Bhagwan value what you are giving, and he blessed you for a multitude of it also. So you see, in India, this is our culture actually. When a holy person come, we have to give something, to that person. We never let the person go empty-handed. And you see that culture also in Russia is the same culture. You have that culture in very Eastern culture, because you see, in the East we have learned to look after those who care for the society. Very often here in the West, people forget about it. In ancient time, it used to be like that. Also here, the king, the people, when they will go, they will give something in return. But this have to be reminded again, and that's why dakshina is important. So it's up to whatever you feel. If you have million, you can give million. If you have billions, you give billions. It's up to you. It's not a forcing. Nobody's putting their hand into your pocket, say you have to do it. Or you can also, but you don't give anything. But yet, cultivate that gratitude. And also, one thing is that one should not be indebted for what one receives. But when you are indebted, then it can also have a different consequences in lives also. So that's why dakshina is given. So, Jai Gurudev. It's late.